Welcome once again to my sports world. We're looking forward. This is the third video today. It's crazy how things can go. But this week there's a big event taking place in world of soccer, or football as we call it in Europe. The drawing of Champions League is coming up on Thursday. So I wanted to touch a little bit about that and see what kind of teams we might end up drawing this year. And I want your feedback on what you think is a good draw for Manchester United. We are in pot or group 2. We call it pot because that's what they call it. We're in pot 2 this year. Along with Borussia Dortmund, Sevilla, Liverpool, PSG, Juventus, Barcelona, and Real Madrid. That's the pot 2. That's the pot we are in because we are second seeded. The first seeded group has Atletico Madrid, Bayern Munich, Lille, Sporting, Villarreal, and Internazionale, or Inter from Italy. In pot number 3, we have FC Porto, Ajax, RB Leipzig, Atalanta, Zenit St. Petersburg, and there's 3 teams to be determined later. In pot 4, AC Milan, Wolfsburg, Club Brugge, and another 5 teams to be announced later on. The teams that are so-called TBD are to be determined. I think it's because there are some teams that have to play qualification matches to get into the Champions League, and that's not at this moment in time not done yet. So they probably will, when they do the drawing, they will say, let's say in the group we end up in, and if there's a drawing from group or pot 3 and 4, and they pull a TBD team, then they will probably say between these 2 teams, the winner of these 2 teams will meet, so on and so on. But for some of the teams that are already qualified and already that we know about, this early in the setup of the structure of the Champions League, we cannot meet any English teams. So we can't meet Chelsea, we can't meet Liverpool, we can't meet Manchester City. So that's one part of it. We can't meet an English team. But if you look at the teams in here, I mean, if we have to draw, and I don't think we will be meeting any teams from pot 2. We will be meeting teams from pot 1, 3, and 4. So that looks like in pot 1, which is already all teams are accounted for, Atletico Madrid, Bayern Munich, Lille, Sporting, Villarreal, and Internazionale. Who the heck do we want from that pot? I know Manchester United have been running some polls on their app. I don't know. I really don't want Bayern Munich or Atletico Madrid. I think that in the group stages, that can be fairly tough. Lille and Sporting and Internazionale and Villarreal. You know what? I don't really want Villarreal either. I don't want any Spanish teams. We always have a bad luck against Spanish team for some reason. I would have to say either Sporting or Lille would be good from pot 1. What do you think? We might end up with Atletico, Bayern Munich, or Lille, Sporting, Villarreal, or Inter. So, I mean, going to San Siro, though, is pretty tough. If you go to San Siro on away games. However, though, I'm going to say this. The teams from pot 1 are not creating any big travel things. Like last year we went to Turkey, and and sometimes you have to go to the Ukraine and way into Russian territory, and it creates just so much traveling and problems. I mean, Italy, Portugal, Spain, and Germany, Not a travel hazard as all or hassle at all. Easy to deal with. The logistics are good. So I mean, Sporting or Lille would be good. I think that would be the two teams that I would hope that we could get from Part 1. I'm not big on French football. I don't know what the freaking mosquito. I don't know what the Lille, how good they are this year, but they must be good because did they win the French league? Yeah, they did. They got ahead of PSG. That's why PSG is in our pot. Because they came second. Yeah, Lille might be a tough one. So do we want to go for Sporting then? The Portuguese side? I think we want to go for Sporting. I think Sporting is the way to go. So let's hope we can get Sporting from number 1. Let's hope we end up in the same group as Sporting. Pot 3. There's 3 teams in that pot that is TBD, to be announced. That could probably be some Scandinavian teams, Denmark, Sweden, Norway, and probably this is where the Eastern Europe teams are coming in, and the same for Pot 4, because when I look at these teams that I have on the piece of paper here, there are a lot of Eastern European teams that are missing, so we're looking at Scandinavia and Eastern European teams in these groups, in these pots. So, okay, so we want Sporting from number 1, from pot 1, and of course Manchester United from pot 2. So that's our starting of our group. From pot 3, remember there's 3 teams here that are TBD, so we don't know who they are or who they will be. But the ones that are already determined is Zenit St. Petersburg from, that must be Russia. And it's Atalanta from Italy, RB Leipzig from Germany, Ajax from Netherlands, and FC Porto from Portugal. Just because what I talked about earlier, the traveling, I don't really want to go to St. Petersburg, even though it's not too far away. It's not the worst, but it can be really cold there. During the time when we play these games, the weather can play a trick on you in St. Petersburg. Not so much maybe in Italy or in Portugal or in Netherlands. Netherlands is more about rain. RB Leipzig can be cold. I don't know. Atalanta, St. Petersburg, RB Leipzig, Ajax, FC Porto. I don't really like that German team. We had troubles with them earlier. We struggled against them. Atalanta, I don't know. Although we have done good against Italian teams. Ajax is. I'm going to use my European the pronunciation of it. Ajax. They can be tough, but they can also be doable. The same with. I think, not knowing who it is, I want to take one of the TBD teams on this one, I think. Maybe not. Hold on, let me think now. That might be an Eastern European team, or even freaking Turkish team somewhere. No, we don't want that. I'm going to go for Atalanta. We have done good against Italian teams previously. So I want Atalanta out of this pot 3. So that leaves us in our group with Sporting, Manu, or Manchester United, and Atalanta so far. That means we have pot 4 left. And what we know there is that AC Milan and Wolfsburg and Club Brugge, or Club Brugge, is already known. And then you have like 5 that are TBD. Once again, the TBDs can either be Scandinavian teams or some team way out in the boonies. Do we want to go way out in the boonies to play a game in the cold? or in some hostile environment in the beginning of Middle East. I don't know. I really don't want to go to Turkey again. I have to say that, not knowing the TBDs, there might be some Scandinavian country teams there, like Molde. Um, did Rosenborg get qualified? Nah. I don't. I haven't paid attention to the Swedish, Danish, and the Norwegian series lately. Well, I know the one Norwegian one I know kind of like. I think Molde won, didn't they? Or was it another team that won? Did Molde came in second? I'm not sure. I don't remember. But between AC Milan, Club Brugge, or Brugge, and Wolfsburg, I think Wolfsburg would be good, unlike the German team. So let's say we can get if we can be so freaking lucky and draw Sporting from pot 1. So our group will be Sporting, Manu, Atalanta, and Wolfsburg. I think that sounds like a very good group, which is very doable for Manchester United to get through and even win that group and qualify for the quarterfinals. Or is it the 1/8 finals or something like that? I'm not sure. 1/8, I think. Or 1/16. I mean. There must be something there. But with Sporting, Atalanta, Manchester United, Atalanta, and Wolfsburg, home and away games, I think that we can have a chance of winning that group. Absolutely. We should beat Wolfsburg away and at home, and we should beat Atalanta at home. Maybe draw away. Sporting can be tough. I think Sporting did pretty good in the previous Champions League they were in. So we can win the home there and maybe get a draw on the way. So that means we get 2 draws, and we play Atlanta and Sporting away with a draw. So 2 draws. Then we win away and win at home against Wolfsburg. And then we win at home against Atlanta and Sporting. So let's do this. 3 wins and 2 draws. Isn't that what we come up to? I think we can win that. I think we can win that group. That would be a group of probably the easiest path to further advancement. What I do not want would be either Atletico Madrid or Bayern Munich. Inter can be tricky too, though. Even though it's an Italian team, Inter can be tricky. I think we have a better chance with Inter than Bayern Munich and Atletico Madrid. So I'm going to say from pot 1, I definitely do not want Atletico or Bayern Munich. And from pot 3, I do not want St. Petersburg or RB Leipzig. I don't like those. Just the St. Petersburg one, just because of the travel and the weather. RB Leipzig, the same, and we struggled against them last time. Although they're not the same team as they used to be. They don't even have the same coach anymore, or the manager. But those FC Porto can be tricky too, though. And from pot 4, from what we know, I don't want the AC Milan. I don't like them. And that wants to be those TBD. There's 3 of them in pot 3, and there's 5 of them in pot 4. It's hard to say, when you don't know who they are. It's hard to say I don't want them or I want them or anything like that. But for sure, let's just go one more time. The group that I would like to see us in would be a group consisting of Sporting, Manchester United, Atalanta, and Wolfsburg. That would be a awesome draw, and that would be, I think we could do good with that. And the 2 teams the worst 2 teams we could pick on Thursday, it would be Atletico Madrid and Bayern Munich. Either one of those. Although because I want to win the group. I want to be able to win the group. I don't know if we are good enough over. We are good enough in a single game to beat any of these teams. So if it comes down to a final, we are good enough to nick a win. But are we good enough over several games to meet high caliber teams like either Atletico Madrid or Bayern Munich or AC Milan or Ajax or RB Leipzig? You know, I want it to be as easy as possible in the starting stages, in the group stages. So I want us to go from the group stages to the playoffs in the Champions League this year. I don't want to be come in second or something and be relegated to Europa League again. Because I think that when that happened, the guys got a little bit of a mental hit. Even though we went far, we went to the final, but we should have won that final. But then again, as long as we don't pick either Bayern Munich or Atletico Madrid or Inter, I'm fine. I don't like Villarreal either. The only one from Pot 1 that I like is Lille and Sporting, and I think out of those, Sporting is the best chance we have. I'm just glad we don't meet any teams in the Pot 2. Real Madrid, Barcelona, Juventus, PSG, Liverpool, Sevilla, Borussia Dortmund, and us are in that group. That in that pot. That's a tough pot. I'm glad those are being spread out between different groups. Yeah. So what do you think? What do you guys think? Make some comments down below on what you think it would be the best draw for Manchester United. Which team do you want? Especially from pot 1. Oh, that's a bad pot. Who do you want from pot 1? From pot 1 you could get either Atletico Madrid, Bayern Munich, Lille, Sporting, Villarreal, or Internazionale, which is now Inter. Which one of those do you want to pick? There will be one team out of that pot that we can pick. My thing is Sporting. I think that would be the best. And which one do you want out of pot 3? FC Porto, Ajax, RB Leipzig, Atlanta, Zenit St. Petersburg, or one of the 3 to be determined. In pot 4, we have AC Milan, Wolfsburg, Club Brugge or Bruges, or one of the 5 that are TBD, to be determined. Let me know below what you think. I'm so looking forward. I'm going to watch it live. Because this is going to be such an exciting event, and I have a good feeling about Europe this year. I think we will do good, because you have to think about it. A lot of teams have had issues and problems, and I think here's how I think it will. Our biggest hurdles to go all the way to the final and win the final will be another English team. Because if you look at the European teams in Spain and Germany, maybe not so much Germany. Germany is pretty stable. They are pretty good. But if you look at the Spanish teams and the Italian teams, they are struggling financially, and they're struggling with their club and their structure. So there can be some stuff going on there that might help the other teams and us. But I think that the biggest hurdle for Manchester United will be one and another English team. That will be the worst. And in second, meeting up with a German team. I think that would be the second worst to win the Champions League. If we go to the final and we are up against another English team, Liverpool, Chelsea, Manchester City. I think that would be bad. If we go to the final and we meet either Bayern Munich or Borussia Dortmund, I think that can be tough too. But I have a better. And of course, there's maybe one or two Spanish teams. I think that when I look at this, Villarreal is probably the strongest beside Atletico Madrid. It's probably the strongest Spanish teams. For some reason, Barcelona and Real Madrid, I don't think they are as strong anymore. Especially Real Madrid, they have lost a lot of players. They lost both their centre backs. And from what I have read, I haven't looked at any matches, but from what I've read, they're kind of struggling to win games now, even with Ancelotti as a coach or a manager. PSG, I don't know. They can be tough too, though. I want to say the 4 teams that I do not want to meet in the final is PSG, Atletico Madrid, Bayern Munich, or one of the English teams. I want to meet some kind of other team. But that's wishful thinking, you know. The 2 best teams are going to meet up in the final anyway. And the 2 teams with the most luck. Because this is going to go down to skill. And it's going to go down to luck. Football is based on skill and luck. It's 50%, it's 60, 70, it's 70% skill and 30% luck. You have to have luck. What do you think? Let me know down below. Champions League this week, 2 days away. We are looking at some drama coming up. There's always drama in a Champions League draw. And once again, we are headed straight for a drama in the draw. So let me know what you think and what you want Manchester United to end up with. Until next time, guys, sign up, subscribe, and keep them coming. And stay happy, stay safe. Don't get minged up with the COVID-19 and stuff. Stay watching games and stay away from people. That's the only best way you can do it. Take care.